Bo Jackson was arguably the greatest athlete we've seen in the last 50 years or so. You have to go back to Jim Thorpe if you want to find the same level of athlete that could excel at any sport. Statistically speaking, there is a 0.00075% chance that a kid playing high school football right now will make it into the NFL. Also, there is a 0.5% chance that a kid playing high school baseball right now will play in the big leagues. Bo did both. His main focus was baseball, while football was what he called a hobby, where he only played for the Los Angeles Raiders and averaged a little over 5 yards a carry. Meanwhile, in baseball, he was an all-star that averaged just over 20 home runs a season and a little under 75 RBI. Then, in what can only be described as a 1 in a million shot, Jackson dislocated his hip and in the process fractured it, cutting off the blood supply. As a result, he had to get a hip replacement. He played baseball for a few more years, but was never really the same player. But what if that didn't happen? What if Bo Jackson never injured his hip and played a full career in either baseball, football, or both? Would he be the only player to win a championship in both? Or would he make the Hall of Fame in two sports? That is the question we are diving into today. Okay, so everybody, we're going to go ahead and get into this. First thing off the bat, in this alternate universe where Bo Jackson doesn't injure his hip, we're going to assume two things. Number one, he doesn't have any more serious injury. So he's not going to get taken out a year and a half later or anything like that. Just the normal bumps and bruises that you're going to go through as a professional athlete. Number two, he doesn't take, nor is he tied to performance-enhancing drugs. He would have been playing during what is now known as the steroid era. And this is a time where quite a few baseball players were taking steroids, PEDs, human growth hormones, whatever you want to call them. Bo never took them when he was playing. In fact, I saw a story where Bo kept weights in his house so people would think he worked out, but he said he never really even worked out that much. So all his strength was natural. He never took steroids. He wouldn't be tied to steroids. So that would not affect his eligibility for the Hall of Fame or his ability to get in the Hall of Fame, because as we know, guys like Bonds, McGwire, Sosa, A-Rod too, the people that were associated with that era are now having a very difficult time getting into the Hall of Fame. So we're going to get into first a little bit of what Bo was before he injured his hip and things that I discovered about Bo Jackson as I'm doing research for this video. One thing I noticed is that his stats weren't really overwhelming. He wasn't a stat guy. He averaged a little over 20 home runs, like 23 RBIs. He averaged around 75 and hits around 94. Now, his best year, statistically wise, in baseball was 1989. And that was a year that he hit 32 home runs. He drove in 105 runs, but he only hit 256. Compared to the rest of the league, he was 8th in home runs, and he finished, I think, 7th in RBI, but in batting average, he wasn't even in the top 50. So those numbers weren't great. His slugging percentage was pretty good. I think top 15 in the league, but he wasn't just overwhelming people with his stats. Like, he wasn't dropping 50 home runs a season. He was probably dropping 23 or 30. That's going to continue. That's not going to be something you're going to see him all of a sudden do just because he has a longer career. What made Bo so good and what people remembered him for were really those moments where he was doing unhuman things or seemingly unhuman things. I don't know if running over Brian Bosworth is unhuman, but that was one of the things that he was known for. Brian Bosworth was this linebacker coming out of Oklahoma, big, strong guy, and Bo just carried him over the line on a Monday Night Football game where they were kind of billing this as Bo versus the Boss. Throwing out Harold Reynolds. Harold Reynolds was known for his speed, and there was a play where he took it from, I think, right field where he was playing, or left field, sorry, played left field. Took it from left field all the way to the home plate and got Harold Reynolds. You could see Harold jumps up and was wondering, like, what just happened. And then, of course, the home run that he hit, just the sound of it made Ronald Reagan, who was known for being a speaker and liked to talk, basically stop in the middle of the sentence, hearing Bo Jackson's home run.
Ball. I don't know if there's ever been anyone doing it.
Hey. He's remarkable, and look at that one. Bo Jackson says hello.
So those are the kind of things that Bo was known for. Also, I think pop culture really built him up, playing two sports. In football, his stats weren't great, but he did average over 5 yards a carry. I think his career he averaged 5.4 yards a carry, which was actually higher than Jim Brown. It was higher than Gale Sayers, and it was higher than Barry Sanders. So if he was a full-time football player, he probably would have had a better career. But the reason he wasn't a full-time football player, the reason why baseball was his first sport, was basically because of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know if you heard this story. I'm going to tell the story because it really plays into what I think would happen to him down the line in the future. So 1986 to 1992, Bo put a career together in two sports, but he was also, like I mentioned earlier, kind of front and center on commercials. He had those Nike commercials where they had about 7 Bo Jacksons on the screen playing every sport imaginable. There was a cartoon. Comment down below if you remember the cartoon. The cartoon was awesome. I loved it. It was Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky. They were fighting bad guys with sporting equipment. I think Jordan was using basketballs. Bo got to use both football and a baseball bat. He wore the pads, I think, sometimes. It was a great cartoon show. By today's standard, probably wouldn't be that fun. Oh, and the video game. Let's not forget Tecmo Bowl. I don't know about you, but we had a no Raider rule when we were playing Tecmo Bowl. If you were playing somebody that was good, if you were playing somebody that wasn't so good, you let them use Bo. It was considered unfair to use the Raiders in Tecmo Super Bowl because Bo Jackson was just such a great player on that game. All these things combined, and Bo Jackson is kind of built up as this Superman, and he was a super athlete. But then there was the injury. And even though he had a fake hip, he could still break a bat as if it was nothing. I mean, I saw him break one on his head. I think he broke one on his knee. Bo was still an elite athlete, but he just wasn't the same. So here we are. Bo doesn't break his hip. In 1993, in the real history, Marcus Allen leaves Los Angeles. He leaves the Raiders. So he still does that. Well, now Al Davis has kind of a problem. So what Al Davis tries to do is he does Al Davis things. He tries to make Bo give up baseball. He makes Bo mad enough that Bo says, to heck with you guys. I'm not playing for the Raiders anymore. So Marcus Allen leaves. The Raiders they lost Bo and Marcus Allen. Bo decides, I'm going to play baseball full time. So the 1993 season is just baseball. And then there's 1994. And I don't know if you guys remember this correctly. This is why I think the timing is so interesting with this injury. Is the 1994 season is the strike. And so now the players are on strike, both sitting there without a sport to play. And what happens in the same town that he's playing baseball in Kansas City? Joe Montana is in year number 2. Marcus Allen is already there, and they can get Bo for a full season. Oh, by the way, the Chiefs are the biggest rival to the Raiders. So now you have Bo Jackson has a chance to get back at his old team and possibly win a Super Bowl at the same time. He's not playing any sports at this point. Bo goes back to football, signs with the Kansas City Chiefs, and wins a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. The year before, they were one game away from going to the Super Bowl. You add Bo, I think it puts them over the top, and they deny the Dallas Cowboys that third or that second Super Bowl. So that back-to-back Super Bowl doesn't happen now. It is the Kansas City Chiefs. In 1995, after that season's over, he realizes that he's not going to win a World Series in Kansas City. And what is happening at that time? The Yankees are putting together a juggernaut. Got Jeter, got Bernie Williams. I think they brought in Doc Gooden, Darryl Strawberry to come off. I think he was, I don't remember if he started or not. Bo Jackson, again, at this point, he is in his prime, so to speak. He's only 31 years old. So Bo decides he's going to sign with the New York Yankees. He goes to New York. Now, this is where it gets interesting for football because Baseball is his first sport. He's going to win a World Series in 96. I think he's going to win a World Series in 97. They're going to win one in 98, 99, 2000. So you're talking about 4 or 5 years there where they're going into October. So Bo's only going to get to play 6 or 7 games a season with Kansas City, and he's getting beat up, and Kansas City doesn't have Joe Montana anymore. So I think at that point in 1997, it would be Bo Jackson decides that he is going to give up football altogether. He's going to retire from the NFL, focus solely on baseball. So, but you're talking about 4, maybe 5 World Series with the Yankees. And that's a pretty good career. And now he's kind of hitting his stride. He's getting his full seasons without football, or, he's not playing as much football. I say he gets 40 home runs a season for a couple of those years, maybe 2, 3 of those seasons. He's getting between 150, 160 RBI. So his numbers are starting to look a lot better. Now, he's not on steroids. So when he turns 36, 37, like a normal person, he's going to start to decline. And then that's when I see the Yankees releasing Bo, probably 01, 02. So what about the questions that we asked before? Is he going to win a Super Bowl and a World Series? Well, obviously, yes, he would. 94 is definitely going to happen. World Series, absolutely. They did win it in 96, 98, 99, and 2000. He would have been on those teams. Without him, they still won them. You throw in 97, that's another one. So you're talking 5 World Series. Maybe we said he's the difference in the 2001 World Series, and he helps them get 6. Either way, Super Bowl, check. Multiple World Series, check. And as far as the Hall of Fames, that's really the question that you got to ask. Baseball, absolutely. He's a Hall of Famer in baseball. Even with the 500 home runs, that's getting him in. And we did say that he wouldn't be tied to PEDs or steroids or anything like that. So he's going to get in baseball. Football, he doesn't have the numbers. He didn't play full seasons. I think he would have played less in this scenario. He would have played less than 10 seasons. So he wouldn't have the numbers to be a Hall of Famer. But all you have to do is watch film, watch his tape. And I really think that he would have had a 1,800 to 2,000 yard rushing season if you give him that whole year, 1994. But in this scenario, you just have to look at Bo and know he's a Hall of Famer. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. I think he does. I think he gets in. I know a lot of people would probably disagree with that. Comment down below, whatever you think about that. But it's happened before with players. It was kind of in the reverse. Terrell Owens, Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame numbers. Took him a couple of ballots because of his locker room issues. But they're going to let Terrell Owens in despite all that. They're going to let Bo in. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, please hit subscribe, support the channel. You can also follow entire episodes of the Couch Warmers podcast on our website at firepitsports.com. And we are also on Apple and Spotify.